Welcome back, students. This is Figure in Space. Here is the demonstration image that I've finished, and let's go ahead and get started. Let's make this drawing. So, to start off, you always want to draw your vertical line, establish the middle, quarter up, quarter down. Those should be about equal, and then you start to draw your figure. The first figure, I recommend always having a standing pose for your first figure. You need to do that. And you notice that I'm starting off very loose, very light, long lines, quick lines, thinking about the big movements up and down. Notice how fast I got from head to toe and put all of the figure in. Once that happened, now I'm breaking it up and I'm starting to follow those contours, define the different forms of the body as I'm going through, the side of the torso over to the shoulder, follow down that arm towards the hand. But I'm not worried about details. I'm still thinking about the bigger forms. I'm thinking like upper arm, lower arm, front of torso, side of torso, navel. Yes, you want to probably put that in. Where's the shoulder? Where does the hair come down? We're thinking about the hip and center. Where does that come down? Going down the leg to the knee up to the hand, from the knee down the calf until you get to the ankle. Lock in the foot. I'm not drawing toes. I'm not drawing the little things. I'm drawing the big parts. Grouping things together to make it quick. So there's the little arm behind the hip. Draw the other leg that's going back in space a little bit, so that's why it goes up like that. I'll probably indicate where's the center of the face, where the eyes, where the nose. Pretty simple, not drawing every little detail. The longer you spend doing those, the more time it's going to take. Now we have the first figure. I'm going to say that's where my eye level is. So I'm measuring that across the page. I'm going to double check it. I'm doing my best to, if you have your sketchbook, go ahead and draw that across there. This is going to look a little bit crooked, but that's because my paper and the angle of the camera is crooked. Overall, I do think it is straight. So now we need a vanishing point on the left, and I'm drawing a line from the head, from the feet, from the knees. Those are all the quarter marks. Here's the middle point. Then here's the one quarter down from the top. And I almost forgot, but then I remembered, we need the head. So here's the head. We'll give ourselves that mark as well. And those are all the vanishing lines I'm going to need for this. Now that I've got those vanishing lines, I can draw a vertical in between any space on that, and I can start to make the next drawing. So I had to flip through, found a new picture. I'm going to do another standing pose right now. I recommend do 2 standing poses, then 1 seated on a chair, and 1 seated on the ground for the base. So this one, I picked a different one, male model, back pose. He's got a little pickaxe on his shoulder. Felt like it was a little bit too wide at first for the shoulders, so then I'm kind of narrowing it down. And after I get that first block in, head to toe, now I'm going back and finding some of the contours. But get your proportions right first. Proportions are the best and easiest way to make these work and look correct. If you are just following the contours, it's going to look weird, it's going to feel strange, and you're probably not going to do the best job possible. Make sure to get head to toe first. Find those proportions. So now I'm working my way down the leg. And notice that these feet are a little bit below the mark that I made. That's because I just felt like he's got a really long torso and I was trying to balance out the whole figure. And in the end, I do think that it is about halfway. Sometimes a back view can be very difficult. Usually the halfway point is going to be somewhere in the middle of the gluteus muscles. Finding that arm, other arm and the hand moves over and grabs that pick. It's behind my first figure, so I'm going to let it be behind. I'm not going to draw through her. Put the pick in there, little prop, makes it a little bit more interesting, especially if we were doing like the more elaborate drawing and adding more to this. But overall, I think we've got about what we need. So there's number 2, also a standing pose. So I'm going to find my image for number 3, scrolling through my images up there on my iPad, just off screen. And now I've found it. I am going to take the height of my second figure and I'm going to slide it over to the left so that I don't have to keep going back in space. If you just keep going smaller and smaller, I promise you, you're not going to have a very fun time with this. So this little arrow is showing that I'm sliding that over, and I'll draw my vertical, and I'm going to measure up quarter away, mark, and I'm going to just basically mark off each quarter all the way up that vertical line, and I can put an X at the very top because I know that that needs to be just below that. The one trick about the pose that I chose is the fact that she's not sitting on a full-size chair. She is sitting on a model stand. So it's maybe about a foot tall. So I'm letting her be a little bit taller or a little bit shorter than normal so that I can fit that in. But the process is the same. If she was sitting on a stool, her head would just move up a centimeter, something like that. But this figure, the head is the same size as the second figure. So hopefully as you get practicing going and drawing these, you get a sense of feel for how big they need to be. And the more figures you can put in the same space, the more figures that are going to feel like they're the same size. And it's going to feel more natural as you make your drawings. We're going down that forearm or upper arm, down into the forearm, which is touching the head. We'll kind of get a very general block in for her head. Now I'm going to move down the leg. So her foot is going to go down and below that line, but it's because, or where she's sitting, because her leg's farther down. So I'm shading the side of this just to kind of make that box more visible. The other knee comes up and sits underneath the elbow. Foot's a little bit right there. We'll just add a little bit of where the eyes and the nose are. There she is. We shade a little bit of hair in. Just writing standing poses on those. And now we're going to turn around and move to our fourth figure. So you only have to do 4. Same thing that you're doing in this exercise. Same thing that I'm doing. My fourth one here, I'm going to use the same height as figure number 2 and figure number 3. Because there's a nice space in the middle. I'll draw my vertical. I'm going to have her sitting on the base. And because she's sitting all the way down, we've lost the height of the legs. I put 2 X's at the top to say, don't draw up here, draw down lower. So her head height's the same. We're just going to do a quick, loose, long line block in. She's going to be sitting a little bit behind the third figure. I'm not shading these. You can shade these if you have more time. I want to keep this quick and pretty simple. I'm just shading their hair a little bit and only important details. So you get her head and her neck. Then I want to go down the arm over to the shoulder, going down the back, down to where she's sitting. Move the arm over to the side, find the hand. The other arm is tucked behind and underneath that. There's the shoulder, little spot where we can see the upper arm over to where it connects to the torso. There's her upper leg. Find the other foot, other leg. A little bit of shading there to just kind of push that back. Find the front part of the leg. pretty much this is it. Good luck with your drawing.